Welcome back to Houston Connections. I'm your host, Leslie Wylliams, and today our guest is Kevin Braggs of Braggs Broker Services. Morning, Kevin.
How you doing, Leslie?
Thanks for being here with us today. We have a couple of questions we would like to ask you, and hopefully our audience could get some good information from you on starting your own business and stuff.
Looking forward to it.
How long have you been a broker with your own brokerage?
I've been a broker for 20 years now. I've owned my own brokerage just over 19 years now.
Wonderful. Can you share with us how you got started with your business and some of the challenges you faced starting up?
In the beginning, there was always an opportunity when you come to the cycles that businesses go in. And so I was really excited about starting my own brokerage. Once I got my real estate license, I saw all the different unique company settings that they were setting them up. And I said, I really want to do this. And so I began to formulate my plan. And one of the things you do, you think about, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And you don't think about the monetary cost and the time and the sweat equity that needs to go into your planning phase of it. And I jumped out in a hurry. It was right around the time I think Enron was going out of business, and they had a corporate sale of most of their professional equipment they had in their downtown offices. And so I went to the auction, and if you go back on the ABC's news series, it was funny if I look back at this. I went to the auction and I bought all my supplies at a discounted rate that saved me nearly 70% of the startup costs that I was about to run into with that. So I didn't have the particular challenges that I see most people face with today in starting mine, but if I can say so, it's about not properly planning for the costs you would have on the onset.
Right. Did you start your brokerage here in Houston first, or was it another state, another city?
I started here in Houston first, and after a few years of growing in the Houston market, I decided to expand and go into the Dallas market and went into the Plano area. And then I decided, how can I continue to duplicate the process to see if I can successfully manage multiple state organizations. And at that point, my first office outside the state was actually New Orleans. And from that point, we began to grow out.
How many other places do you have your broker services? Do you offer your broker services?
Broker services are now offered in throughout the state of Texas, Louisiana, and Florida, and we're going back into the California market right now. We took the presence down, but we're going to try to ramp it back up and get back in that particular market, and soon to be other states as we go.
Wonderful. And just full disclosure to our viewers, Braggs Broker Services is our sponsored broker for the Wylliams team. So just good information to know. In today's world of social media, you notice that there are a lot of people saying insensitive things and doing some incredibly stupid things out there and posting it on social media and stuff. And as a result, what we're seeing a lot of is employers are actually seeing these things and letting go of these employees and offering apologies, probably to save the brand name and so on and so forth. Now, upon saying that, tell us, how do you attract agents to your brokerage, and what do you look for in agents?
A part of what I heard is your brand name and how do you make responsible decisions of bringing attractive folks to the brand.
Right.
Your brand actually should be a lived motto on how you expect business to go. And your expectations as a leader of anybody is to build and to create. Anytime you see an opportunity to bring someone to help you build and create, you look at those assets that person may bring and you set some things up for them and you see how can they build and create. If you do the due diligence that takes place beforehand and understand that this person may not be a builder, but actually something that wants to tear things down, then you have to make a real selective choice and say why. And sometimes people in a position they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And if they are honorable and forthcoming in all the things they have done, and you have the access, because everything out here is accessible. You know, social media is one point away, but there isn't an organization that has grown into a larger organization without having people that know how to understand how to background search what is going on in social media, in the social media aspect. And so if we can take it back and look at that and see, hey, and sometimes, you know, hey, you made a mistake, I may allow you to come here and regain the faith and the trust of the broader community where you want to work. But there are some things that atonement just seems like that's a far-fetched idea, and the person is on the fence about what they want to do. At that point, I kind of push them into a corner and say, hey, how do we get you to be the best person you can be before you begin to say how you can be weak can be.
Right.
Because if you're not you, and you plan on being a changing person who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow, then I don't know who I have. I want you to grow into the goals, things we set up for you to go, so you can grow into those things. Right. I cannot get into the space of even trying to manipulate or manage your social behaviors. That's not a role of an employer. That's a role of parenting and counseling. And so we just kind of do our best, man, at trying to make sure we make honest, objective people look at their past, talk to them about where they're going, and see if they can bring themselves into our fold in that way. And if they're good, we're good for them.
Awesome. Okay. So what makes Bragg's Broker Services stand out different from other brokerages that a new agent might want to consider?
There's so many things out in the marketplace today where there's broker services saturated everywhere. And so there will be a lot of things that may be similar to some broker service, and there'll be small things, slices, that may be niche processes that you offer. I believe we have a great supportive network as a boutique element that helps grows, and we focus on team building. If I can get you to develop a team and teach you the leadership principles of how to lead that team, then I feel I've done my job growing you up into this business. And that's in terms of how do you market, how do you communicate, how do you look at the raw data from an analytics standpoint and make decisions based off the data, and not based off your feelings as you go forward.
Okay. You talked about your team just now. What does your team consist of at Bragg's Broker Services?
So my team are a collection of many teams. We try to attract individuals who want to build their teams out. And so my team concept is about how do I coach the team leaders into building their teams and allowing them to begin to start their own brokerage from that point on. And so if you look across the board, as an example, not quite the way I do it, but Keller Williams did this a long time ago, and other large broker contractors, I call them, did this also. They've allowed people to brand themselves and team names under their own deal, but actually sponsored by Keller Williams in the background. Right. And so I appreciate that approach, but I thought that was a more educated process you can go about in allowing guys to build their teams. And so we selectively created a team process, a team building process where I do the coaching and allowing them to bring in new recruits. And this is the format, and we go from there.